Welcome to another video about Minions: The Rise of Gru. If you haven't seen the other ones we've uploaded, go to the Trends channel and make yourself a playlist because there is so much to discover in this movie. This time we'll focus on the mistakes that made it into the final cut. They can be continuity errors, plot inconsistencies, or things that just make no sense. It happens all the time, even in the best movies. So sit back and relax as we disclose all the tiny mistakes we caught in Minions: The Rise of Gru. Here we go!
Oh, I didn't mean to scare you. Now, where's Gru?
Let's begin with Gru's first visit to Criminal Records, the music store that cleverly hides the Vicious Six headquarters. He's supposed to use the phrase, "You're no good," as the password to find his contact, but he mistakenly gives it to anyone else. Nefario, who is a seemingly nameless character at the moment, overhears this and helps him a bit by making it obvious he's the one who will provide access to the secret level. Nefario is goofing around with some gadget he apparently just invented, and after verifying Gru's password and helping him access the secret space, he, completely out of the blue, gifts it to Gru and tells him if he ever becomes famous, don't forget what was his first gadget. But this is completely erroneous. You'll see. If you remember the villain con in the first Minions movie, then you know that's where we first ever saw Gru as a kid. And he was in a stand where Dr. Nefario was presenting his prototype of the freeze ray, which Gru actually uses on Scarlet Overkill by the end of that movie. So there you go. Neither that sticky thing Nefario gives him is Gru's first gadget, nor is this the first time they meet.
Did you just trade my future for a pet rat?
Let's keep thinking about the whole Dr. Nefario thing because this is all too suspicious. Why would he give away his prototype of the sticky fingers to Gru? And for free? He doesn't know him, he has barely seen him once at the villain con, and he has no way of knowing what's going to happen once Gru enters the secret headquarters. Or does he? The sticky fingers gadget is way too convenient to have for what happens next. Maybe this is not a mistake per se, but it's a very in-your-face script convenience. Not even Gru could know how bad his interview would go, so he didn't go there with the plan to steal anything. But once he decides to steal the Zodiac Stone, the thing is completely unattended and he casually has the perfect gadget to retrieve it. And as if this wasn't weird enough, when he escapes the place with the stolen stone, Dr. Nefario is right on the door ready to let him go as if nothing is happening. What is going on here? None of this makes sense. Does Nefario work for the Vicious Six or against them? Was he conspiring to help Gru steal the stone? And why? In the post-credits scene, he didn't even seem interested in becoming a part of any villainous enterprise, which doesn't make any sense either.
Okay, fine. Because you had a nightmare, but just tonight.
We get it. Otto is a nice addition in terms of widening the cast, if you could say so by telling him apart from all the other 10,399 minions, that is, and must be making wonders in terms of marketing and merchandising, but no one seems to have thought about the obvious. His mere existence is a continuity mistake. Why isn't he in the rest of the movies? There's no way they can justify his absence in the 3 Despicable Me films, so how are they gonna fix this? We wonder. Maybe they will do some kind of retcon to include him in Despicable Me 4, or even explain his future in an upcoming Minions 3 movie? We have no idea of how that could work. Is Otto dead in the future? Can Minions even die? Does Illumination care about this? We'll have to wait and see.
Alright, who let the kid in?
I thought he was a tiny man.
Another thing that seems to be a script mistake is when Bellbottom, current leader of the Vicious Six, receives Gru, only to turn him down and humiliate him because he's a little kid. She cruelly laughs at him and tells him, "You seriously think a puny little child can be a villain?" She even says, "Alright, who let the kid in?" when she's the one who presumably sent him an invitation, and then proceeds to blame Jean-Claude for letting him in when we just saw that he was called in by some sort of female secretary. Do we have to assume Belle didn't send him the invitation for the interview? Who did then? The female secretary? Jean-Claude? Or did Dr. Nefario have his hands on this event as well? Was he pulling the strings from the shadows? Meh, the movie never answers these questions.
All I need is Otto. Where is Otto?
Script conveniences can get annoying in this movie, and we count them as mistakes for sure. The resolution of the biker's arc with Otto is too easy. There's no real danger for Otto here, so we never feel there was anything at stake. The whole thing makes Otto's journey feel useless, as it doesn't make any sense for the biker to go back in the middle of the desert just to save him from dying dehydrated under the sun. He didn't even know Otto was pursuing him. And it makes even less sense that he gives him the Zodiac Stone without a fight. fight without a single question, just like that. You want my cool amulet? Take it, you weird yellow thing. I have nothing to say. Want me to give you a ride to the exact place you need to go? Let's go. Let's harness the power of the script together.
BELLE, soy Stuart Smith, le capitaine. Willkommen. Good flight.
We guess that you, being a Minions fan and all that, already know that Minionese, the weird language the Minions use, is a made-up language composed by words from several other languages from around the world like English, Spanish, Italian, French, and even some German and Russian sometimes. And this creates a mistake so evident that makes the whole communication concept of the film very annoying and inconsistent. We understand that Gru, having to spend lots of time with them, has become able to fluently understand Minionese. But what about everybody else? Everybody seems to understand Minionese when it's convenient for the plot. For example, when the Vicious Six go to Gru's house and interrogate the Minions in the Tupperware party, they perfectly understand that Wild Knuckles is alive and has Gru in San Francisco. How did they understand this? By just talking to the Minions? Because we have a lot of counterexamples of people being unable to understand them, like the absurd sequence where the Minions hijack the plane on their way to San Francisco and talk to the passengers via intercom before the flight takes off, and no one understands a single word they say. This is, at best, inconsistent and lazy writing.
But nobody messes with my family.
Thank you, Doctor.
Everything about this character's appearance is problematic, as we have seen in the beginning of the video, acting like he has never seen Gru before, giving him a free gadget prototype out of nowhere, letting him escape when he steals the stone, and even implying he doesn't want to work with a villain. But hey, he was indeed working with the villains, with the Vicious Six. One has to wonder what kind of job did he have at Criminal Records. Was he some kind of assistant to the supervillains? Was he creating gadget prototypes for them? Or his one and only job was being the hippie old guy who sells records and serves as an alibi for the whole operation? It's hard to understand what was his part in all of this before Gru's arrival. Hear us out. If Nefario is such a cool inventor and has some freaking giant aircraft hidden beneath the entrance of Criminal Records, the Vicious Six's cover-up business for their secret lair, why is that he not a member of the Vicious Six? Why? If you think about it, the remaining five didn't have to search for a Wild Knuckles replacement. They had Dr. Nefario sitting right there. Oh my gosh. Come to think about it, don't you think it's possible that being ignored is precisely the reason why he chose to betray them? We'll leave your brain burning with that question because it's time for us to go.
What do you drive? I got a legit bike.
Did you catch all these tiny mistakes in Minions: The Rise of Gru? We hope they didn't bother you too much as to stop liking the film. It's always funny to find these types of errors, so we learn to be more critical of the content we consume. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be making movies yourself and you'll avoid these mistakes. Anyways, that's all for today's video. Check out the rest of our content as we will be uploading more content from Minions: The Rise of Gru. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn your notifications on by hitting that little bell if you want to keep receiving awesome content like this. Bye!